to the Classic Rock Hour, taking you on a nostalgic journey by playing some of the best rock hits from the 60s right on through to the 80s. I'm Faye Collin, and this is the Classic Rock Hour here on Planet Radio.
But more on that later. Up next, I went out to the local record store Vinyl Tap in Huddersfield to discuss the impact that the rising sales is having on them and what their opinion is on the resurrection of vinyl, and here it is. Both young and old consumers are now embracing the hard copies of music rather than digital downloads and CDs, thus encouraging the 2016 and 17 revival of vinyl. Over the past couple of years, the sales of vinyl have rocketed, with more than 3.2 million records being sold in the UK in 2016 alone, making this a 25-year sale high. The top 10 vinyl albums that were sold in 2016 featured artists such as David Bowie, Amy Winehouse and Radiohead, compared to the sales of downloads and CDs, which featured artists such as Adele, Coldplay and Justin Bieber. Big chain supermarkets such as Sainsbury's and Tesco are now following the crowd and stocking a variety of vinyls. So with its overall popularity increase, is this going to have an all-in-all negative or positive effect on local vinyl stores? We spoke to JP from Huddersfield's very own record store Vinyl Tap to get the lowdown on the impact the revival is having on them and the most interesting find that they've had in their store.
All your classics always sell very well, your big artists, your Beatles, Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, but also, we've seen in the last few years other artists, kind of becoming very much in demand. So Paul Simon Graceland always sells, Fleetwood Mac Rumours. A lot of the albums that supermarkets have taken it upon themselves to stock are ones that we also sell well with as well. So I think there's a lot of people kind of either rebuying the record collections or they're kind of buying records that the grandparents or parents used to have. So yeah, it's been a really good couple of years for us. The most expensive record we've had was a psychedelic album from the late 60s called A is for Apple by The Apple. That's quite a nice find. We sold that for just under £4,000. So that's probably the most expensive and only relatively recently as well. So it just shows you that there's still amazing stuff out there to be found. I think those records will always be popular, the kind of standards. Those kind of, certainly those first four Led Zeppelin albums are kind of, you probably don't get better kind of rock records that sold very well. Same with Black Sabbath's first 3 or 4 albums. They will always sell well because bands will always be influenced by them, I suppose. So yeah, whether it's on any format, vinyl, CD or tape, they've always sold well. With new records that are pressed, as long as the quality is good, because the pressing plants are kind of at full capacity, there's always the chance that things that get pressed aren't pressed very well, and that means that if people buy them, if they're not happy with them, they might think, well, I don't really get what this is all about. It's not very good. So really, as long as the quality, if quality improves, then people will be happy with what's out there, I suppose. I don't think rock will ever die. Really, people are really loyal to it. We'll have people, we have people who have been buying it since the 60s, and you see those people coming into the shop. I say I don't think it's as influenced by what's fashionable. It just exists in its own kind of world, really. So you might have periods where, like in the 80s, where a lot of the kind of hair metal bands, and then later on Guns N' Roses did really well, and did well in terms of the charts. I think every sort of couple of years you will have that, but it's good for us. It's selling, so we hope that continues. It would be nice that we have new releases to come out as well, because I know that with all these reissues, it means that people who want to press their own record up, are struggling to get them pressed. Now, without new releases, you don't want it to just be about classic albums or however well they sell. You want new vinyl albums coming out as well from new artists. So it'd be nice to see a few more pressing plants able to press those records and, to have new titles out there, really.
Overall, it appears to be doing great things for everyone around. Tune in next week for more vinyl updates.
This is the Classic Rock Hour with me, Faye Collin, here on Planet Radio Huddersfield.
Right, so it's now time to give you all the details on how to play today's game. Guess the riff. I'll be playing a snippet of a classic rock riff and may well give you a hint to which decade it came from. And all you need to do is text in to 0739 777 4728 with your answers. That's 0739 777 4728. The number will also be on our Twitter page at Planet Huds and our Facebook page Planet Radio Huddersfield. If you didn't quite catch it on the air, we'll be playing another classic hit, He Is Queen with We Will Rock You.